Hello there everyone and welcome back. I like to think that my last episode with the Kaoyang style type of protector fleet was a bit of a failure, at least in my opinion. Sure, it is a bit of an experimentation trying to deviate away from the tried and true 6-cruiser fleet, but I got demolished against the Necrons and it performed abysmally against the mirror match against, well, really the merchant fleet. Although that was probably due to my own poor performance and just a bad habit that I've been having consistently with this fleet on just overextending and trying to get too aggressive with the Custodian. So maybe there's not much fruit to be had with this fleet as opposed to the Orc Necron fleet. Well, not Orc Necron, good god, imagine that weird combination. But what was it, the Orc Rock fleet? That's a bit of a different story. That's kind of a surprising fleet that kind of performed well, even though we haven't seen all the matchups yet. For now, I'm just going to jump back into my roots a little bit, or at least something I'm familiar with. Although, who knows how long it's been since I actually used the Asuryani fleet. It feels like it's been a while after all. And as I keep hammering on this point every single time, it's very limited in vision. So anyone that relies on stealth tactics like Drukhari or even, well, Tyranids could be a bit problematic as well. But really, if they are strong with their vision and like any of the light cruisers or frigates, I'm probably going to have a hard time against them. And even their strategies, if I could find it somewhere, the Augur Disruptor Bomb can be very impactful against this fleet, which really is a lot of the reason why I have the Wraith ship in here. It provides a little bit more freedom of scouting, but also gets rid of that random element, or at least that controlled element where a cunning opponent could use Augur Disruptor before I reveal them, so I'm not able to do damage with them with the traditional, 2 Phoenix 2 cruisers, or even the 3 Phoenix fleet, or at least what was most predominant way back when, the 5 cruiser fleet with the Asuryani. That's the intention with this Wraith ship, because if any fleet's going to get punished heavily by the Augur Disruptor Bomb, it's this fleet. Just because, again, their light cruisers and frigates are probably some of the worst in the game, just because mostly the restrictions that light cruisers in general have, made even more so when at least the torpedoes only have a single shot to them for the Asuryani. And these frigates, which immediately I want to try and compare them to the Helibor for the Corsairs, is far and away much more inferior, simply put, since it has a regular lance and not a pulsar, never mind the extra weaponry that the Helibor even has. I know I make this point every single time, but it's good to re-emphasize the flaws with this fleet, for those who may not be aware of it. Hell, I think even the Helibor is even cheaper than the Asuryani's type of frigates, and again, it has a pulsar which allows for more hit and run maneuvers due to its longer rate of fire. It's, triple shots, and it even has torpedoes and other weaponry to complement it. So, I'm not really optimistic, never mind the fact that the Asuryani frigates only have 200 health on them. I think that's kind of the final nail in that coffin there, but I hammered on this point long enough, and I feel like I will jump back to Drukhari in a future episode pretty soon. Although, I really dislike playing with the battleship heavy type of fleets because I may have hinted it before, but I feel like it encourages the wrong mindset or wrong habits with at least how the Eldari are supposed to be played, even if the Triple Impaler fleet, or at least the Impaler Heavy fleet, is definitely a very fearsome fleet. I still don't like it for that reason. Alright, so I'm going to make sure of the silhouette this time. It is the Protective Fleet, right? And not the Merchant Fleet, which I got caught a little bit flat-footed, even though the same kind of fleets I need to be mindful of are still the same between those. 6 cruisers is definitely the most predominant. It's just the Merchant Fleet has that really awkward type of fleet, especially if I'm stealth reliant like Tyranids or Corsairs, where they have so many frigates that blind them is almost an impossibility, even if Corsairs are really effective at sniping them one at a time. Either way, I don't recognize this opponent, so I'm going to have to be very mindful on how I can somehow try to make this enjoyable for him. Because Eldari, again, require quite a different mindset, but at least here, they kind of see me coming, as opposed to Drukhari and Corsairs where you need to be really good on playing the positional and map awareness type of game. That's not so much a factor here. Doing damage to me is still going to be a lot harder than Dane Corsairs and Drukhari without a doubt. Since when you factor in the hollow field, when it's at full charge, these ships might as well have A3 armor, in equivalent to Space Marines and Necron, at least as a simple way to understand it, with the added bonus that lances are heavily mitigated, still probably the best weapon to use against Eldari most of the time, but only if you have that convenience on dragging out the battle, really. You may not have that convenience if they're going to be very aggressive on you. Especially with something like Drukhari where they have Impalers, but at the same time, they don't have hollow fields, they have shadow fields that kind of at least use for their hit and run type of shenanigans, or at least getting the ambushes. But it gives no defensive bonuses. Now, what are we up against here? We got, well, this kind of confirms it's a lesser experienced opponent, with maybe the frigates being not salt running. It could be for the target coordinator, that's always a possibility too, to be fair. But I know where the frigates are, at least two of them. And that was almost like a battleship there. If that's a custodian, then there's clearly another frigate around somewhere. Since the grab hook kind of forces three frigates to be fielded. Or fielded, rather. I'm getting distracted because the audio is too loud on my part, I apologize. I just quickly turned it down on my end there. Which should make it a little more sane for me. And I do hear boosting. And ideally, I want to try and spread these out. There is frigates hitting, though. I heard it boosting. I think it was, unless this was the one ship here, maybe. I am very wary of having this spotted, though. Okay, that gives that away. So fighters, you're going to reveal we need to stay near these gas clouds for good effect. Okay, two of the frigates there. Fighters are not going to spot anytime soon, but we can force them back. That's going to reveal me. I just want to neutralize this point, at least keep her from doing anything about it. And this is the cruiser heavy type of fleet it's looking like. Well, that is a horrible use of my pulsars. A little unfortunate, and even if I prioritized it differently, it would not have helped a whole lot. But I have extended range, my fighters are going to be able to shoot down most of theirs. And as much as I would like to lock on and do more damage, let's at least try. Oop. I'm doing a bad job controlling again, aren't I? I want to shoot down these fighters. Now conceal these, minimize damage. And actually fighters are dealt with, so all I have to do is hide in the gas cloud. Nice simple job here. Although this light cruiser is being revealed, they have a lot of frigates. I wasn't expecting so many, but it proves I was a bit mistaken about our opponent a bit. And now I need to find these frigates. Otherwise I'm just going to continue to have problems.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Okay, there is a sauce here which we could take advantage of, or at least do damage to. I just need to actually hit this thing, because apparently I'm not in range. If I can destroy a deck, that'll help a ton. Okay, so they do have a custodian. My time doing damage is at its end. So I want to boost forward. Part of me really wants to boost forward. But, let's see, custodian fighters are... Yeah, if they fire secret missiles now, I'm going to be in a bit of trouble. Especially, I think they have extended sensors as well. I'll have to actually check their fighters to see. And I need to see where these fighters are going to.
I stand ready. Where the winds guide.
Sadly, I don't think I'm going to avoid the fighters as much as I want here. Try as I might, but we can dodge these missiles at least. Okay, never mind, I'm wrong. Sadly, no damage on that part, so my opponent's doing well, and I wasted a very valuable charge. There.
I walk the mariner's path.
We did good damage there. Yeah, again, extended sensors. Can we make this work?
For the ancestors.
So I am marked, but thankfully, I can dodge these pretty well. And ideally, with no fighters nearby, I could just shoot these down.
How may I serve?
Now I just want to kill one of these things as quickly as possible. Although that gas cloud's going to be a bit of a pain.
I walk the mariner's path.
If I don't kill that now.
Relocating.
Now let's continue damaging
I
this.
stand ready.
I want that killing blow and I'm not getting it here.
For the ancestors.
Ah, dang it, I want to conceal this ship, but my boost... I think I'm going to get spotted still because they're going after the cruiser and not the Phoenix, which my ships are marked anyway, so that's not helping here.
Mariner's path. We understand.
And there was an opportunity for bombing or torpedoes that I missed because I got too distracted with the micromanagement here.
For the ancestors.
Alright.
Underway. I stand
Thankfully, fighters are not doing much here, but
where the winds guide.
again, I'm messing up my control a bit.
I stand ready.
And because its engines got damaged, that's really hurt right there. And that was a dang messed up torpedo there too. The durability is certainly showing though with the A3 armor. Now I wish I need to spread these out though, because it's messing with their AI pathing a bit. I could dodge these secret missiles well enough. I want to board you. Now, can we keep moving? Because I am really needing to control this fleet right now, and that ram was not good for me. So fighters, okay, they took out the bombers, which I guess were secret missiles, which I'm okay with. Now, let's see, frigates are always nice to kill, but with all these fighters, that's probably not a good engagement for me. And again, that's the bad habit with the pulsars in general, sadly. I cannot get the convenience to actually have it consistently hit the target I want. Now, can we try finish these off? No. I have burn retro still on. Yeah, that's just plain annoying for me there. I'm just doing bad on controls. I apologize. because this could very easily have been a win for me if I played the game properly. But let's at least kill their vision. There's not much use I could do with my bombers. And I just want to... Let's see. I have stasis bomb. I do have another maelstrom coming up pretty soon. Now just kill these things for me. Actually, make it happen, finally. So crew is heavily crippled here. I'm hoping the pulsars did damage though, because now I'm going to need to reconceal myself quickly. Because as crippled as everything is, I'm not in a good position. Why are you not firing? That's because all your weaponry is destroyed, isn't it? You have literally no weaponry right now. That's what's happening there. And I'm marked, so that was a waste of my time to try to do that. I do have the maelstrom, but now I have to go after ships that are crippled. And we can force these out pretty easily. Bombers are going to do some damage. I hope, thankfully, still have fighters available, but... bombers are going to connect, but the damage is significant enough. And ideally, I want to try and board this, because that's probably all I can really do with this ship. It's this fleet for now. Yeah, what? Yeah. So I do have one pulsar shot, but again, it's only a single pulsar shot, so imagine how little kind of damage it can do. And I'm launching the bombers because you just recalled them, so I'm hoping that doesn't bite me in the ass in a moment. And combo that with the torpedoes, this should hopefully hurt. Because I'm going to lose this if this drags out. There, Custodian's gone. We just gotta clean up the rest of these ships now. And I do have ways to board them. Actually, you should just be grabbing points, I guess. Because I'm basically gonna lose due to the objective mostly at this point. Although you're crippled, you got enough durability. Now one more hit should hurt this quite a bit. Especially if I board it, although I can't board it for a bit. It's, if nothing else, it's a demonstration on this fleet's durability. Alright, is enough of them shot down? I did take some hits. I think this is over. I probably should have just committed, but the problem is I had no idea how many frigates were still alive. So I have to try and commit to killing that. And losing his yeah, this is over. I apologize, that was a terrible display on my part. I should have been able to do that a lot better because I messed up with the torpedoes. That alone sealed the deal there. And the preempt... I did do a really early preemptive one as well, which thankfully my opponent was smart enough to dodge. That would have been... you don't want to get hit by torpedoes when you have such a convenience to be able to dodge them freely. Alright, so it's the same opponent again, so let's see about getting some redemption, dang it. That was my match to win. Or my match to lose, either way. At least it felt like that. I mitigate the seeker missiles relatively well, and despite all that, it was an abysmal failure. And really, it came down to if I had connected with those torpedoes, we would not be put in this situation. I would argue, at least. Since really, I think the only torpedoes I actually hit were the final ones on the Custodian. And of course, that's a perfect demonstration why waiting until the engines are crippled, or at least they're stuck in a stasis bomb, is so damn important in that regard. So let's try and improve on that somehow. At least somehow. Because my Phoenix can grab these points, maybe. If my opponent's going to try and grab these 2 points, then I can get very aggressive on whichever splinter fleet they have. Well, to see what they're utilizing, though. Is it Grand Cruisers? Will it be just regular 6 cruisers? Or is it all battleships? All these things will play out a lot differently. Because if they're Grand Cruisers, then I don't really have to worry about incredible ramming damage, and I don't have to worry about torpedoes. And I say the incredible ramming damage is because the Grand Cruisers don't have the A3 armor prow, like everything else does after all. Otherwise, not much else to really say, although I gotta be careful about redeploying my ships when I'm raid up, because you never know when my opponent might be ready to start this. And actually, I do want my cruisers spread out. Actually, it's probably better to have them like one behind the other. That might help a tiny bit, but not much.
I walk the mariner's path.
I hope they had time. Yeah, I hope they had time to deploy everything. I was a little bit worried there, so basic upgrades and all that. And one frigate not silent running for whatever reason.
Energize thrusters.
So grab the point for me.
The wind's guide.
And I can at least damage this Grand Cruiser. It's in a perfect position.
I stand ready.
And at least to do a little bit of damage, but it's nowhere near a flagship, alas. But we do have something here we can shoot down. Hopefully you're able to grab the point in time. That's all I really want.
The enemy has seized a strategic area. You have seized a strategic area. You have seized a strategic area.
And these ships are relatively safe, so I'm hoping to shoot this frigate really quickly and really hard. Yeah, and of course they're going to try and group up, and this is a lot of the reason why I want to try
As foretold.
and do damage to them while they're isolated.
As foretold. Where the winds guide.
Let me prioritize, yeah.
I stand ready.
So I guess the point's mine. That's fine.
Relocating.
Now, can I do damage? I want to boost.
Energize thrusters.
And at least the gas cloud helps there.
How may I serve? Raise sail.
It's a little bit of hull
You
damage.
seized
I am
a
going to take some
strategic
hits,
area.
but
Underway.
there's a frigate down below here, which hopefully we could shoot if I pay attention to where it's at.
Ready. Energize thrusters. Where the winds
I saw a lance fire down here anyway, I just don't know where it went.
for the ancestors.
And I currently have 3 points, so
Relocating.
I don't need to rush anything.
For the ancestors.
Let's see, am I immediately detected? Well, my ships are invisible, which is always annoying.
We understand.
But let's see.
For the craft world.
And I am marked, so what I'm going to have to do is just brace for impact and just shoot these down. Not a big issue, because the assault boats, well, I'm hoping.
Energize thrusters.
Alright, so everything's just running. You took a lot of damage. And I did get bored, dang it. I was planning on boosting it by me a little bit of time and messed up on that. And now that you're isolated, the bomber should be pretty effective here until you decide to boost. I just gotta pay attention to where they're moving. Yep, especially now that your engines are crippled. You're pretty much a sitting duck here. This is more of what I had in mind when I have my ship spread out. So you are completely useless. I'm going to reconceal myself, so your Emperor and all that should not be able to do much. And it is rallied. So it's only a short-term problem. Because this thing's pretty much out of the fight. No torpedoes, no engines, or anything of the sort. I just now gotta keep boosting, or at least get these ships out of trouble before they get pincered in there, which they should be alright. I'm just wondering why there's a single blip here. That I'm not sure about. And that might be a job for my light cruiser, even just to take care of this threat, because I could easily reveal him. Hell, I could force him to move. Sadly, it might have limited value, but
You have accumulated 25% of
but this might not be too bad. Because that's too little too late there, although they are regenerating health. We're gonna get ourselves a nice double whammy, or actually, I want to go after this ship. Everything's all spread out. This is kind of my dream scenario. It's not as effective as a Maelstrom as it could have been, though. And sadly, those torpedoes don't do much either, but they're still going to connect, if only barely. Now, torpedoes hit, engines crippled, that's good. Now, let's get these ships out of here quickly. And hopefully that'll be enough boring damage, if I'm lucky, to keep it from doing much, eh? And they are high in the gas cloud, which restricts what they can do. Now just keep those shields from recharging and hit it hard. If we could take out the Grand Cruiser, that'd be great. And where are the torpedoes? Well, you conveniently just revealed yourself for me, so I'll happily take this a gift. Nope, they're gonna ram a bit. I would have loved nothing more than to kill that flagship right there. Which I suppose I could do now. And let's see, bomber's gonna do a little bit of damage. Alright, those torpedoes definitely paid off. Show us that Grand Cruiser. Alright, so without fighters, those are easy picking. And that's about to burn to death, maybe. If I'm so lucky. At least his engine's completely crippled, so I know where it's gonna be. And we could kill that crew there in the process for the frigate. No Maelstrom yet, but it's about to come back up, which is gonna be pretty good if I can get the engine critical hit. Okay, maybe not. We're gonna get some aggressive behavior from our friend. I'm not going to get nearly as much value as I would like, but it forces them to disengage.
Raise sail. Boarding action has met its objectives.
Now hit him hard, please.
Stand ready.
Because you're on all sorts of fire. I could have fired torpedoes there, but
I serve.
I could still fire torpedoes, so it works out in the end. And yeah, I rushed that torpedo salvo, but this thing is pretty much already dead still. I just gotta keep hitting it. Boarding's not gonna be as significant because I'm not Corsairs after all. No, you get on going to safety. Board this. Let's return the favor and actually prioritize the battleship, please. And I would like to launch bombers, but with 2 of these ships, that's not going to be likely.
For the craft world. The winds rise. Aspect warriors report boarding successful.
Okay, I'll let you have the light cruiser if you're going to commit to trying to kill it.
For the ancestors.
While I just trade it for your battleship here.
Aspect warriors report boarding successful.
You have accumulated.
And even then, there's enough boarding damage to kill your cruiser as well.
We understand. Graveguard strike.
So, do I have any torpedoes left? I don't think I do, sadly. But the crew is suffering quite a bit.
I stand
Come on.
ready.
You're not turning, which is unfortunate.
Away.
This light cruiser is actually doing more damage than I care to admit. By not allowing me to actually maneuver with my fleet.
Mariner's path. Mariner's pirouette.
Alright. So can I feel a little bit better about this? I don't think so. I still feel bitter. But hopefully it was a good spectacle if nothing else. That's all I can really hope for. Now let's just move on to our next match and forget this whole situation ever happened. Alright, good old orcs. This could be an incredibly underwhelming type of match, or an incredibly tense one, although, from the looks of it, we're dealing with just the regular orc pirates, so we're not dealing with the fancy upgrades and the fancy skills that all the other sub-factions have to bring. In all honesty, I'm trying to remember what the orc pirates have. I think really it's just extended sensor range, which, considering we're facing off against orcs, is kind of like one of the worst upgrades. Mainly because they can't really benefit from that additional sensor range, if I'm serious. So this could be a bit of an underwhelming match. Especially considering I'm not going to want to be anywhere near them. Although I do recognize the name McCracken. I just can't remember from where. And what preparations might be required of me. But at the same time, I think my Phoenix is just basically going to grab all these points for me. Give me the point advantage, and then we'll see how the layout works afterwards. Because I should be able to grab these 3 points before they grab these 2 points. The only odd thing is, my Phoenix is going to be out in the middle of nowhere, and not really going to have any cover. In fact, none of these points really have any good cover for me. Because if I want to engage at all, I want to be near these gas clouds just because of how useful it is to just conceal myself. Kind of what we've seen before already when I was playing against Tau. It's nice convenience to have. Although, they're all over here.
For the craft world.
Now sadly I am going to burn right through this and maybe not even capture it if I'm unlucky enough. So we're going to cheat a bit and turn. Oh yeah, and I want these ships to kind of like be not really side by side.
Walk the mariner's
Even though it's not really going to help too much with this positioning, is it?
Raise sail.
But yeah. Alright, we have mega cans. They all have a fighter bay. A single fighter bay, which I'm not really terrified of. And they do not have saps. That's something to keep in mind too.
How may
But I do see a tracked cannon with that said. And grabbing the third point's kind of out of the question now.
dark stars in flight?
But I'm ready to intercept these fighters. They're only single squadrons.
Ancestors,
I could deal with them pretty well. And we have easy targets over here in the frigates,
for the craft world.
which I'm not really afraid of.
You have seized a strategic area.
I did not consider the fact that they would be sending assault boats right off the bat, but
As foretold,
we are shooting them down, if only slightly.
mariners pirouette.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
There, they're all trapped. I can take this boring damage without cold arms. Even though I probably could still get away with it, truth be told.
I stand ready.
Since I'm about to have 3 points, I probably should have prepared for that a little bit better. I will be honest. Alright, so this is going to be amazing if I do this right. I'm hoping I planned that properly where they fall right into the stasis bomb, because I don't need to tell you what's going to happen here in a moment.
I walk the mariner's path.
Now let's just deal with their fission.
Thrusters.
Sadly, I was hoping to get them to also fire their
The enemy has
pulsars.
seized a strategic area.
I timed that a little bit badly. Especially with that pulsar shot being such a failure. But a lot of it's because of how the pulsars even work. I don't know why they're so different. I even shown it once when I prioritized in the last time I played with Eldari. It just doesn't want to cooperate. No. Oh, I lost all my fighters. Never mind. Oh no, I lost my fighters, but why can't I launch more? Why can't I launch new ones with that said then? Where are my fighters?
Raise sail.
I'm a little confused what's going on here. Oh, that's why they're just been recalled. That really terrified me. Wondering if the game just bugged out. And no. It's simply because my fighters are too damn resilient, is what it came down to.
Underway.
Yep, let's see. Let's stop turning so that way my fighters can actually dock properly. Because constant movement and boosting around is gonna probably get that charge of fighter squadron. Or of my fighters kind of killed off.
Locating.
Yeah, I am gonna lose the points there, but I got a good backstab potential here. And I have fighters to launch as well.
The enemy is seizing one of your strategic
Yes,
areas.
run! Someone is really terrified right now. And thankfully, they forgot about launching their fighters to kind of like screen. Although you're supposed to grab the point.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Point defense is doing just fine. I don't even need brace for impact.
We understand.
No. We did good damage.
Craft world.
It's just going to be awkward trying to catch up to these guys. And we dealt with their 2 frigates. So I don't have to worry about inconvenient
You
scanner
have
pulse
seized a
timing.
strategic area.
If that's even a factor at all. Alright, so
How may I serve? Raise sail.
now they do have a track can. Let's keep that in mind.
Where the wind
I think they have one anyway, but this will hurt a tiny bit. What is it? I get hit by 1, 2 of them by... Ah, dang it, I was hoping to avoid
the mariner's path.
the one there.
have
But
accumulated
they only have 3
25%
charges,
of
and where's the
strategic
flagship
points.
with that
The
said?
enemy is seizing one of your strategic
Okay,
areas.
you don't actually have a track can. I boosted away for nothing. In that case.
As foretold.
Alright,
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
so recall the fighters. Get ready to launch. I want to switch the brace for impact this time. And thankfully they're only fighters and not assault boats. And we have a nice healthy point lead, so I could just take my time here. Alright, this time I'm prepared for this. And thankfully the Nova Cannon doesn't do crap against my fighters.
Raise sail.
So now they only have one shot left.
I stand ready.
I do want to kill this one here, it goes without saying.
Winds guide.
Since that's crippled, so why not try?
World.
And as soon as they boost, I'm going to try and mangle this.
Foretold. Mariners pirouette.
Alright,
How may I serve?
this works into my plans.
The winds rise.
The point defense, thankfully for some reason, apparently the assault boats are going fast into the fighters. I only trapped one, sadly, so the damage is going to be very minor. But that boost works out well, because now I can punish this with my other ship. I don't even need the board. Get ready to... I need to be ready to boost myself, though.
I stand ready.
That was a bad torpedo shot, I will admit. Especially since he conveniently boosted and dodged all of it.
25% of strategic points.
I walk the mariner's path.
And that was their last shot.
As foretold.
Just go on through. Those are two ships gone. That was their last Nova Cannon.
The song of renewal.
And now, let's just bomb this one ship. Although, I did want to kill this.
Winds guide.
Sadly, I think my bombers are going to take a lot of damage regardless.
For the craft world. We understand.
Now, bombers got intercepted because of one dang fighter squadron, but what it means is their fighter squadrons is also burnt. So perfect opportunity for a torpedo broadside.
Accumulated 50% of strategic points.
Mariner's pirouette. How may I serve? As foretold.
Now everyone get on out, although... Okay. That was tense. If they boosted right there, that could have been a little bit more damage. Especially considering they were all mega cannons, keep that in mind. Oh, I didn't realize I'd said that twice. Stupid me. Alright. So they were moving around and all that. They didn't have access to everything too, so that was a bit of a factor. What would that have been like if they had tracked cannons? Dang it. Now I feel guilty.